Hola YouTube, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Hola que estén bien. Hi YouTube, welcome on in, I hope you guys are doing well. This anime is something else, boys. This anime is something else. I go home, I am home. I go to work and I'm thinking about this show. And I told one of my therapist buddies, like, I'm like, hey, I just started watching Sangatsu no Lion. I'm like halfway through the first season. Y'all don't know what she said? She said, oof. She never says oof. She said, oof. That terrifies me, bro. That terrifies me. If a person who like rarely shows her like, genuinely expresses her feelings in that way, she usually tries to be empathetic, like, oh, that's awesome. You can't believe you're chatting, you are starting this. If she says oof, I'm terrified of what's to come. This show has been something that, like, something that I think about at work. It's just the feelings behind it or something else, guys. I can't even state that enough. Guys, I am so excited for this. I'm so excited for this. I hope you guys are too. This is a special stream. It's on a Thursday. We just did finish the Moshiko Tensei light novel chapter that lasted like an hour and something. Yeah. So why don't we go and just jump into it? What do you guys think? All right, let's go. Oh, wrong one. All right, let's go. Better.
また来てしまった。
The fish.
お正月贅沢しちゃったからしばらく質素にねって言ってたの。でもこれで明日からも美味しいものが食べられる。ほかほか。今日はもうみんな食べちゃったんだ。残り物ばっかりだけどいいかな。
I'm gonna be straight up, and especially like coming from a lower income situation, when you're tight on money towards the end of the month or towards the end of the year, depending on how you navigate things, anything that people bring in, you're so incredibly grateful for. I think, and for me, this reminds me of a time when, my family was struggling badly financially as a kid. And I remember one of my uncles brought like one of those, like a box just filled with like random snacks and stuff. And like as like something that, like, you just cherish in those moments, when you're like, wait a minute, like there are people out there who genuinely care about you. Like it's a big symbol of like growth, and like you don't have to worry about that expense for a little bit. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, for example, this broke my heart the other day. um was at a store, right? It was at Walmart, and the kiddo, like all they had in their bags or in the cart was literally like a thing of like eggs. And the kid was like, but I want a snack, I want a candy, I want something. The mom's like, but we don't have money for it. We can only have eggs because we can cook and eat eggs for like, breakfast and dinner. Whew, dude, my heart. I Yeah, yeah, yeah. It hurts, especially when you see moments like that. Family, friends sharing produce, it was growing, was a huge thing. It is. I went. I was like, hey, you know what? Like, let me buy your kids like a snack. Don't even worry about it, type of thing. And she was like, surprised, like, really? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. Like, for me, it's like, well, if I pay my bills, I don't really care about money at all. It's not even a priority. It's in any way, shape, or form. Like that. That's why a majority of the videos, like for a year, almost 2 years, all the videos were monetized and stuff, because money is not the priority of like this channel. It's always been like putting out the mental health content. But like genuinely helping a person, or like helping a person through a tough time, that means everything, dude. Even a small act of kindness like this, even though it might just be like, oh yeah, it's a moment of happiness, it goes a long way. But yes, you're a mist. Honestly, yeah, family, friends, and sharing produce, huge thing, huge thing.
卵かけご飯。
It looks so good. Oh.
ねえねえれいちゃん、今日はももちゃんと一緒に寝よう。 いい考え。そうしなよ。明日土曜だし。
No.
今日は帰らないといけないんだ。
He has to get ready to go stream on Kick.
どうしてなんで
She's too cute. I can't. I can't.
ももちゃん、
Oh.
僕ね、今度どうしても負けたくない試合があるんだ。
Oh.
だからお家に帰って勉強しないといけないんだ。
お勉強？テストがあるの？
All the tests.
そうなんだ。どれだけ頑張ったかを相手にも自分にも見せるテストなんだ。
Your YouTube channel, especially your ReZero reaction analysis. American Idiot, dude, I appreciate you so much. I hope that you're able to stop by tomorrow, but still, I appreciate you stopping by. You're amazing. Thank you so much, man. That means the world to me. Even just stopping by and saying hi. You're amazing, dude. Genuinely. Thank you so much. Here's a self-care Dorito. Practice some self-care, dude. Appreciate it.
じゃあレイちゃんに言ってあげないと。なんて？レイちゃんテストなんだって。
Oh, dude, this.
こういう時はなんて言うのかな。頑張ってって言うんだよ。
Oh, this breaks me, dude. Every time. No. I know last episode.
頑張って。
Ah,
はい。頑張りま
so
す。
cute. So cute. Momo-chan must be protected. Momo-chan has to be protected. But also, and this is one of my big fears is what is he fighting for? You know, what a way to start an episode. Yeah, but it's also like, you know, walking into the cold darkness, into the cold abyss, getting ready for the big fight to come. Whew. From warm colors to palette to dark and cold. Yeah, Sierra. And this season's been filled with a lot warmer colors. Like life, actually. Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead just to save our editor some issues here. But like this season's actually filled with a lot more warmer colors, a lot more semblances of life and creativity and warmth and goodness and all of these things, right? But it's interesting how whenever he has to deal with certain situations, the colors shift. The colors get colder and he's more isolated. It's a little bit harder to feel and experience certain things. That's why I'm like, ooh, if this show does a wonderful job of storytelling through colors. Hey, what is he go? Okay. Okay. I thought he was biting a tomato. I was about to be like, oof. I already know a lot of people that won't like him. I guess questions just popped in my head. How do you view someone's dreams and ambitions as? Like, do you think for one dream and to have ambition and follow it needs to sacrifice what they have? What would you say is your takes about people's lifelong dreams? As a therapist or as an individual, Masters? Because those are two different answers. Like, as a therapist, I'd look at that, right? As a therapist, it's not my job to define your dreams as it is yours to define your own, you know? As a therapist, it's your own responsibility to define your own dreams and what you aspire to do, and for us to have unconditional positive regard to help you out there, right? As an individual, you know, how do you view someone's dreams and ambitions as? as extensions of an attachment to themselves, right? And this is why attachment theory is so powerful in so many ways. Oftentimes, our dreams, our aspirations, our goals, or oh, I forgot this starting of the episode. Oftentimes, our attachments, our aspirations, our goals are all interplays of ourself, or of our unconscious with ourself, right? Trying to show different lessons, different opportunities, different things out there. So I view it as an attachment of a self, of oneself onto an idea, right? And oftentimes we have unrealistic dreams, unrealistic expectations, right? So my big thing is, what is the motivation behind that dream? Is it to better yourself? Is it to learn? Is it to grow? And that's something I always question about people whenever they share their dreams. And there is no such thing as I mean, there can be bad dreams, but there is no such thing as like, oh, an aspiration that's like so far out there. If it is, what is the underlying purpose behind that? That's where my mind goes. See, based people like tomatoes. That's what this anime is showing. Seen as a reference to a movie? Is it? What movie? I mean, it's true. I'm sorry, tomatoes are greatness, bro. Okay, but now I don't know about this combo now. Everything started off good, but now that he got the milk, I'm not sure about tomatoes and milk. I'm not so sure about that one. Okay, now he just turned it weird. Hold on. I'm not so sure about this one. I'm like, tomatoes cool, right? But tomatoes and milk, that's an interesting combo to go for. Wait a minute. Man's hustling.
あの後、一度将棋会館で桐山を見かけた。一心に棋譜を調べ、控えを取っていた。話しかけようかと思ったが、その険しい表情を見てやめた。
Before he continues, I wonder how much research, like, because before you fight an opponent, like even in a martial arts setting, even a psychological setting, before we even get to do the intake, if you're a specialty agency, you sometimes get referrals about the individual, right? Some people love to read the referrals to prepare themselves for what's to come, right? For them to have two different pieces of or a narrative, or a piece of information based on a paper where they're able to go ahead and dissect sort of what the other psychologists in their health home think versus their own story that they're sharing, as opposed to this, as opposed to say just a person coming in and just sharing their story. There's multiple ways of approach in a scenario like this. And so I'm wondering, even in a fighting situation, right? For example, I love to look at the way my opponents fight. If I'm fighting Masters, and say that Masters is a martial artist for the past 10 years or whatever, before I step in that ring with him, I'm analyzing those videos. I'm literally analyzing the way he fights. Because we all have habits. I have a habit that when I throw a kick, I tend to follow up with two punches, right? Another kick, and I duck my head forward to avoid upcoming hooks. I have a habit of doing that, and I've noticed it. you know, and I only notice it by recording myself or being able to go and like pay attention to scenarios like this, you know, and in my professional fights as well. Now, when it comes to a scenario like this, that's the exact same thing that I'm wondering is, can you pick up habits and patterns like that? And I'm guessing you
桐
can.
山が集めていたのは島田八段の寄付と後藤九段の寄付、その2つだけだった。ったく、あんなクソガキ。いやー、腹立つわ、あの野郎。俺が勝ったケースは思いっきりするんかよ。そして島田さんすらぶっちぎって、もう後藤と当たる気満々って何様のつもりだよ。
Who does he think he is?
俺にはねえよ。後藤を破って島田さんと向かい合うビジョンなんて。だけど分かってる。そうだ。そこが問題なのだ。桐山の見たビジョンは、ただの虫のいい思い込みともまた違う。俺たちはプロだ。受け入れようが目をそらそうが、自分の力量は残酷なまでに正確に、胸のどこかで測っている。それが測れてこそのプロだ。勝てるか
Absolutely.
もしれないと思える人間がそのまま。勝つ可能性のある人間だったりするのだ。俺にはねえよ。後藤を破って島田さんと向かい合うビジョンなんて。
There's no certainty in situations like this. And I love the fact that we're hearing all of this self-talk because even in any profession, choir, band, whatever you're in, right? Like performance or whatever, you constantly have a lot of different versions of self-talk. And oftentimes we even get nicknames. Sounds good. Appreciate you so much. Have a good night, Masters. We even get nicknames accordingly, right? Like, for example, when fighting, like, especially in mixed martial arts, the nickname I got was the Killer, right? Which sounds weird, right? But it came from just the instances of throwing powerful roundhouses or powerful back kicks to knock out people, right? So it was like sufficient amount of force that can throw a person back. However, that also became a crux in of itself because people were expecting that as like the power kicks that would come, right? So it's a double-edged sword. And oftentimes when you're going through brackets of tournaments or brackets of competition, whether it's in band and getting a competition that doesn't allow you to go and compete in state or other things, it's like you can never really prepare yourself, or you have like, unless you have the imagination and you're shadow boxing these other scenarios, it takes a lot, and it's about taking it one step at a time. Thanks so much for the hydrate, Raccoon. So question for you guys. How many of you guys, do you guys always see the end goal of a result that you're starting with? Or do you guys go step by step? No problem, Raccoon. Appreciate you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be on tomorrow as well.
つまりそういうことだ。だがしかし、そっからもさらに息汚く勝ちににじり寄ろうとするの
Bad
が
self-esteem or
まだプロ
narcissism?
の仕
Yeah,
事ってやつなんだよね。
absolutely.
後藤の形は居飛車穴熊、対する俺は風車。後藤が重く硬いとすれば、俺は軽く広くが持ち味だ。
Oh, dude, that face hurts me in the long run. Oof.
それでは始めてください。
よろしくお願いします。
I like how calm this is, but how much of a real battle it becomes. All right. Hey, yo, wait a minute. Pepega commentary here. He's going with the vampire attack. No, seriously, I'm actually kind of surprised at the amount of depth that they can give a shogi board like this just by hearing the clacks in the music. It's a character, it's like a character in of itself. Hmm.
後藤と戦うのは2度目だ。前回は後藤の重厚な囲いから 長期戦になると覚悟し、こちらも玉の囲いを厚くしたが、慣れない甲冑に心情であった身軽さをそがれた形になり、結果は惨敗だった。
Rushing defeat. Oh. Oh. Oh.
そしてそれを踏まえ、散々対策を練った上で、今回は自分の得意な形でぶつかることを決めた。俺はあまり玉を囲わず、素早く動き回り、小さな傷を無数につけ、相手の体力を奪う。対する後藤は、じっくり固く囲って重たい一撃を狙ってくる。その一撃を食らったら最後だ。
I'm genuinely curious, and I'm going to throw this out there. What is the longest game of this game recorded compared to chess? I have a feeling that like games like this could go on for a very, very long time. And even just like the mental exercise, the mental gymnastics that must go through something like this. I wonder about their mental health journey, because I know even in chess, you know, the ups and downs and the instabilities of situations like this and losing at a high professional rank. Oof. Oof. Could take hours, Alex? Damn.
だがやってやろうじゃないか。100% 勝敗が決まっている対局もまた。プロ同士、絶対にないのだ。
嫌な空、雨が降りそう。
いや、夜から雪だって言ってたよ、予報では。
通りで。
I just have lasted over 10 hours. Days are involved too, Sierra.
I
keep wanting him, but he won't crumble.
このくらいの出血ではびくともしない。それどころか、俺の手が伸びなくなった。そして、その一撃が来た。
Hey yo, wait a minute. Hey yo, hold on. Wait a minute. Whoa.
この男、何が見えてる？ものすごい力で攻め込まれる。こじ開けられる。真っ黒な水が一気に流れ込んでくる。息ができない。
You held out.
引きずり込まれていく。皆そこまで。なすすべがない。
Oh shit. Okay. I think in terms of just performance, right? We have a field in psychology called performance psychology, and even sports psychology, where we study like instances like this, which is at high level play, a high level like sports, a high level everything. At what moment do you know you've lost? A genuine question. I'm gonna throw this out there to you guys. At what moment do you guys know you've lost? If you're playing a video game or something, at what moment? I'm not even talking about the you as in people in general, but you as an individual. Do you know you've lost? If I'm playing Overwatch, the moment that I start molding, like genuinely feeling frustrated and like not thinking things clearly, I've lost. The moment that I can't start thinking ahead because either my teammates are over, like the tank is out and behind enemy lines for whatever reason, I'm not like processing things correctly, I've lost. You know, the moment that we can no longer like properly process, I'm like, okay. So like if I have to maintain a cool head, I know I'll be okay. But the moment that like my anxiety or my emotions get the best of me, things start taking a wild turn. and it's okay. You have to be okay with not being okay in scenarios like this. Part of me assumes it depends on on your self-confidence. Okay, but I'm talking about yourself, Alex, as an individual. Like, say you're playing a video game, or say that you're about to go and perform. At what moment do you know that you feel that things are about to take a dark turn? Is it when your self-confidence starts dipping, or is it the moment that like someone does something in particular? You only lose, unlike in chess where you checkmate, you can only lose when you resign. You have to admit defeat in shogi. Ooh, ooh, oh,
負けました。
oh. That was quick.
軽いな。だがまだちょっと重い。26角と覗いた後、52金左と守ったな。63金と上がった方が良かったな。あれで重さが出てしまった。
They left an
身軽さ
opening.
が心情なのだろう。ならば迷うな。
ああ、ざまあねえな。なすすべなく乾杯した挙句、つきものまで落とされて。フルコースかよ。
迷う
な。なんなんだよ、あの分厚い男っぷりは。いくつよ
Overbearing manliness.
あと10年ちょっとで出せんのか、俺。あの迫力。モテんだろうな。
Dude,
な
yeah.
んかすげえ腹立ってきた。さてとりあえず今日のところはだ。コース入ったらお姉ちゃんのいる店で飲んだくれる。B コース外れたら家に帰って布団かぶってワンワン泣く。
To be fair, okay, I gotta be honest with you. I think if there was a hostess club or bar or something in my area, I don't think I'd be streaming. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. But if it was like a cosplay bar type thing, with a played good music, I love y'all. But I think those things might be a little dangerous. And give it a theme, and the danger level goes up. Give it a theme like the dark countess's like host club, or like a muscle gym lady bar, or kaijo bar or whatever. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw out random things out there. with semi decent everything price beer whatnot. I'm gone, dude. The review when the other person tells you where you went wrong is so brutal. But honestly, sometimes those moments of actually being told where you've messed up carry a lot more weight than someone always kissing your butt, right? And like whenever, for example, I take my dad with me, the old G, whenever I go compete, whenever I have to go and fight, or whenever I have to go do something. He's straight up. Like, we have sign words, code words, whatnot that we use whenever we're fighting, right? But he's just straight up like, hey, you lost because of these 3 fatal mistakes that you made in your fight. If you would have thought about them ahead of time, you would have been A-okay. But the fact that you got so into it that you decided to push forward, or you stepped back, or you did this, that's the reason why you lost. You have no one else to blame but yourself. Having conversations like that and being open about it, being able to, like, even by your opponent, to say, hey, you could have gotten me here if you did this, and just brutal honesty can go a long time. Long way, I think. At least for me it does. I'm not sure about others. Because it can be a lot. Like, it can really, like, hurt you if you're not prepared. Oh, kitty. It better be a cute cat. Oh. You saved that kitty. You saved that kitty. It's winter. Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. Oh, here we go, boys. Match of the century.
いや元気そうじゃないか。残念だよ。そっか。このまま行くとお前とも当たることがあるってわけか。
Unconditional pet love, pure
楽しみ
true.
にしてるよ。素手で殴るよがもちっと面白そうだしな。あ、そうだ。お前から幸田の親父に言っといてほしいんだけど、あのストーカー女のことだけどさ、早くやめさせるようにって。迷惑してんだよね、俺。
挑発だ。
Yeah, he was provoking you.
でもやるしかない。それにはまず今日だ。今日勝たないと何も始まらない。島田海八段、永久在位5年。いくつも棋譜を並べてみたが不思議だ。特徴が見えてこない。得意戦法も苦手なものもつかみどころがない。
Well, that's terrifying. When you can't find any strategy to beat him, I mean, yeah, go out for a walk. Literally, look at the pictures upside down, maybe as well. But still, fuck. So for yourself, hold on, chat. I'm throwing this out there to you guys as well, YouTube. How much pressure would you give yourself to try and survive and actually do something in this situation? How much pressure is that for you to go out and try and succeed, to try and claim your name back, to try and, like, not just your name, but, like, you know, who you are as an individual and what you stand for? I'm looking at our man here and I'm like, how much pressure is he putting on himself? So much so that he's willing to go ahead and be like, this family that loves me and gives me food and everything, I'm going to go ahead and, like, take a step away from this in order to go ahead and study up for this. He might have done that regardless, but for me that speaks a lot for the character that we're seeing, who, even though, you know, his sister might have traumatized him in some way, shape, or form, I'm not talking about his actual sister, his stepsister, I guess, he's still trying to go ahead and do something, because clearly the man triggers him. Mm.
対局したことはない。でもそうだ。小学生の頃、子供将棋大会の中のイベントで講師で来ていたのを見たことがある。ひどく痩せてて背が高くて静かに話す人だった。
Not getting
僕
next
は
level
勝ち
means,
進ん
yeah.
でたから遠くから見ただけであまり印象に残ってないけど、勝つ将棋というより負けない将棋を指す人だ。こういうタイプの人との対局は長くなるな。苦手だ。でもイライラしたらダメだ。
Alright, let's go. Big match. Yeah? I think that's a big thing, Ray. If someone's able to go ahead and psych you out, right? Like psychologically get in your brain and, you know, fester. If you let an idea fester in your brain, it's like, I hate to use this example. I'm going to use it because it affects me. It's one of the things that triggers me a lot. And I think this might be because of previous experiences with it, traumatic experiences with it, whatever, right? If I texted one of you guys, hey, we need to talk, and we're in a relationship, no emojis, no nothing, just, hey, we need to talk, ... What does that do for you? Or if you receive that message, what does that do for you? Do you start thinking about everything? Do you start getting anxious? Your heart stops. You know, brain goes instantly to a breakup. Yeah. And it might, I fucked up, didn't I? It might not even be a scenario where you genuinely have fucked up, or where your heart stops, or anything, like, or where, like, you did something bad. It might just be like that they want to communicate with you about something. But we all have those trigger words, right? Where we've been sitting on an idea for so long that we start overthinking about it, turns unhealthy. Dude, I know, because whenever I get that, I immediately, like, my anxiety skyrockets, and I'm instantly like, oh shit, what happened? Where did I fuck up? What did I do? Ooh, I start reliving some stuff, and I'm like, ugh.
もらったばかりなのよ、後藤に。
ここで負けるわけにはいかない。どうしても。
Here we go. Here we go. I counter with my counter. No, it's the other dude. He has to face this individual to face Goto, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. At least that's how my brain processed it. This is like just random person he has to face before Goto. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm right.
対局は僕が先手。相矢倉になった。ここまでは定石通り。さあ、開戦だ。行くぞ。
Okay. I always thought the pawns would take sideways, right? In shogi, but apparently not. Apparently you just take forward. Okay. I know they had the cat explanation video, but my mind instantly goes to chess, you know. Shit.
5二飛。全部受け切るつもりかなら。
Pawn taking forward hits different, yeah.
金を引いた。飛車を回るつもりか。じゃあ俺もだ。なんだか指しにくいな。こういう時は玉を固く囲って。囲って。ちょっと待てよ。おかしくないか。攻めていたはずだよな。
Oh no, now he's on the defense.
いつの間にか守りになっている。なんだこれ。いつの間にこんなに悪く。ミスはなかった。なかったはずなのに。なのになんだ。この厳しさは。攻める手がもうない。そう。
Bro. Oh. Just thinking about that. If all of a sudden you go from being on the offensive to the defense, you have to calm yourself like almost immediately, bro. Because the amount of intensity of attack that's actually happening inside of your brain, right? It's not just an attack on the board, it's also like an attack internally for you. That's huge. That's huge, man. I'm feeling this, and I'm like, oof.
Yare. やっとこっちを見たな。
あ、兄者。
どうして来たんだ、ボー。今日お前は対局じゃないだろう。
すみません、兄者。
Oh.
まだあるじゃないか。
大事にしてないと昇給がかかっているんだぞ。無理はし
Oh,
ないって約束したろう。俺とも師匠とも。みんなには言わないって約束と引き換えに。
はい、すぐに戻って横になります。
my heart, dude. Holy shit.
いや、俺もいきなりいやいや言ってすまない。びっくりしてな、お前がいるから。
Hmm.
で、どうしたんだ、ボー。何か俺に伝えたいことでもあったのか。
はい、実は兄者に桐山の頭をかち割ってやってほしいのです。
ボーの
Get him to look up.
何を言うかと思えばまた厄介なことを。さてと、じゃあ続けようか。
Oh, it's a beauty in this, dude. The fact that, like, it wasn't, you know, your opponent is never really ever attacking you out of, take my boy down a notch. Yeah, the big head, damn, ouch. But, like, see, for me, I find something like this beautiful, because it's not even like, I think the biggest match, yeah, Shimada the GOAT, the biggest match that we can have with, like, in any competition is sort of with ourselves, right? At the end of the day, who are we looking forward to? Like, you know, what are we looking forward towards celebrating? Who's the biggest hurdle we have to overcome but ourselves? And I think him just being able to be like, oh, you finally looked up, right? Like, you know, you that type of a thing, dude. And then best friend Kun back at it. Time after time after time. The importance of recognizing the self and the importance of recognizing your friendships and what they can mean to curate one another. Huge, man. This is why, like, I feel like I'm falling in love with this show as we go through it more and more and more, just because of the dynamics that are being presented here. How sometimes, like, you know, we can spill out the biggest, most evil enemy out there. Like, I can talk about, like, some of my previous relationships or individuals in good or in bad light, you know. But as in the individuals that they are now, completely different persons than the individuals that they were then, right? I don't know how they are now. I don't really keep in contact with a lot of them. But if I were to tell you, like, oh, this one person was a big villain, they did this in my life, whatever, right? Different than who they are now, right? Now that, like, time has passed, now that whatever. Inside of our own minds, it's the same thing as well, right? He spent so much time studying to defeat Goto, ignored Smith's sheets, and kind of studied for Shimada to realize that wasn't anything you could tell from his play. But that's the thing is, for me, just taking a step in and, like, realizing this, and actually great observation, Kyon. What would you have done differently, right? And I think in a scenario like this is understanding the presence of the other, the big component of the game as well. It's not just the pieces moving, but the person moving the pieces, right? How do they want to be interacted with? How do they want to be seen? Can they be heard? And even in martial arts, I guess I'll show. It is psychology based. When you go to fight someone, you know, in most martial arts, you bow, right? Or you show a sign of respect. There's some fights where you can tell that the person's no longer there. There's some fights where, you know, usually the way I bow, you know, I go down and bow type of thing. And this has always been my form of respect against any individual that I'm fighting, higher or lower ranked. But sometimes you can tell when a person is just fighting to fight, but doesn't really acknowledge you as a person or as the individual there. And they're just studying your movements, just studying the dance that you're doing. I would have done the same, to be honest. If I learned anything rewatching the scene, is that you have to focus on what's in front of you. Yeah. But for me, it's like, that's also a big lesson in life. Is sometimes we overanalyze for the perfect scenario. And is there a perfect scenario? Not really. One of the hardest lessons I think to take away from this is, like, no matter what, you can prepare, you can study, you can have the manual. And I think this will even go for parenting. You could, like, You know, you can read books and books about parenting or books and books about something. It's not going to prepare you for what's to come or for what the real thing may be like, you know. So take it one day at a time. This might be even with yourself, right? With self-care, with self-love, with anything like that. Look at what's in front of you and take that one step. I'm terrible at strategy. I wouldn't even be a player. I get too caught up in each individual win and fail to see the overall war. But that's good to acknowledge here. And that takes a lot of like introspective moments as well. Like if you can acknowledge the fact that, hey, you know what? I might not be cut out for strategy games. There might be other moments that you might be perfect for. Whether that's, you know, an empathetic form of thing out there, you know? Doesn't have to be a strategy game. Could be like racing or something else, dude. I just find this beautiful. And I find the way that the game is presenting it insane. Or the way that the show is presenting it insane. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm excited. What is the next episode actually going to happen, dude? What are we going to get? Are we actually going to see the full-on fight coming in soon? I'm curious. I'm so excited. I'm so curious. I'm waiting for the actual fight with Goto, and is that going to be the highlight of the season, or is there more to come? Overall, I have so many questions. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there, you know, just because. Oh, I'm going to throw them out there next episode because I think that's super duper important. But with that being said, guys, how are we feeling? YouTube, if you're in YouTube, hey, I hope you liked it. I know sometimes we go really, 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 really deep. Other days we tend to stay out a little bit, you know, especially depending on how tired or how light I am.